Transport Secretary said today. He didn't talk about HS2. This isn't about HS2. This is about 15-minute cities. The idea that you might try and have key services within a 15-minute walk or cycle ride of where people live, so they don't have to drive as far. Mark Harper said this: what is sinister and what we should not tolerate is the idea that local councils can decide how often you go to the shops. I was puzzled. A lot of people have been puzzled looking at that line, because I can't think of anyone who is proposing that councils tell us how often we go to the shops. And I help me out here. Is this crazy talk, conspiracy talk, or is there some rational sense? Is there somebody saying councils should dictate that?
No, there are proposals out there for 15-minute communities, 15-minute cities, and I think people are worried that this is an infringement on their liberties, on their freedoms, on their ability to choose where they go to access services, to access what they need, be that shops, etc., and all the rest of it.
If I have the choice to go to...
We do not want local authorities dictating to people that they must choose to access those services within 15 minutes of their house, or however often they might need to access those services. That's what Mark Harper was saying today. Of course we want more services to be available locally and close to where people live. That's an eminently conservative thing to support, but we're not going to dictate to people that they must only access a service or go shopping within a 15-minute...
I understand you. I hear you. But this really gets to the heart of where the Conservative Party is positioning itself and how it is trying to conduct a debate. Nobody is proposing that they'll dictate whether you have to go within 15 minutes. They're saying, wouldn't it be nice if you could get to a shop within 15 minutes? You're not disagreeing with that. Labour are not disagreeing with that. There's no argument over that. No one is saying you have to go to the shop on a Tuesday morning and your shift is this and you can't go to that one. That's just not on the agenda. So why make the argument, pretend there's an argument about somebody dictating how often you can go to the shops?
No, but people are concerned. Their liberties are going to be infringed.
Because you're making the concern. You're spreading conspiracy theories, aren't you? There is no
nonsense. I mean, these are proposals we're seeing from local authorities up and down the country to create 15-minute neighbourhoods and communities. And whilst we support the access of services at a very local level, easily accessible by as many people as possible in their local area, what we don't want is local authorities moving down the route, which could happen, of them dictating to people where they must access services. That is what Mark Harper was saying today, and that is what we're acting against. And I think it's important that if people are concerned about these things, that we address those concerns. And that's what we did. That's what a responsible government working in the national interest should do.
Well, hang on. I mean, but what you shouldn't do is make people concerned about things that they have absolutely no reason to be fearful of. What is it you understand
people are
by
concerned about this already? This is coming up in discussions on doorsteps up and down the country. It's coming up in discussions on forums, online. And if people are concerned about it, we need to address those concerns, and that's what Mark Harper said we were doing today.
Yeah, and just tell me what it is you understand by a 15-minute city that could potentially involve a council deciding how often someone goes to the shops.
Look, as I said, what we don't want to get to is a place where local authorities, organisations up and down the country are dictating to people where they should access their services. And that is why we are keen to defend the liberties and the freedoms of the British people to choose where they access those services. And that is why Mark Harper said what he said today. We are not going to endorse top-down bureaucracy at a local government level, infringing on people's ability to choose for themselves what services they access and where they access those services. That is what our position is, and I support very much what Mark said.
And you support it, but just to be 100% clear, because I don't want to be unfair, you cannot name anybody who has proposed that local councils should decide how often we go to the shops, or can you? Because that's the line. What is sinister is the idea that local councils can decide how often you go to the shops and that they ration who uses the road with CCTV. I just wondered whether that is overstated by Mark Harper in order to make a point and potentially to kind of create a dividing line with an opposition who are not arguing.
I don't think it has been overstated, actually. These are proposals that you see being made up and down the country.
Where? I've not heard anybody. I've heard people proposing 15-minute cities, but that you're not disagreeing with, that you should be able to go to a shop within 15 minutes. I've never heard anyone say that the council should decide how often.
Well, they shouldn't, frankly, and that's what Mark said today.
OK, well, I think we all agree with that, don't we? I mean, I don't think anyone's going to disagree that council shouldn't dictate that.